I love all my haters. This isn't just fashion, it's a movement. At Retired Rockstar, we turn hate into fuel, proof you're living loud and staying legendary. Featured here is musician Gino Black, rocking the I Love All My Haters limited drop and the G-Shades collection. Tap in and join the movement at retiredrockstarbrand.com. For a limited time, all trucker hats 25% off, and all OG logo tees are just $19.99. Because legends don't wait, they move. Retired Rockstar, live loud, stay legendary.
All right, let's do this shit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of Music Therapy and Motivation. I'm your host, Gino Black. Today, I got my homeboy on here. This is Ari Martin. He is the exceptional composer, producer, based in Cincinnati, Ohio, but he is international now, thanks to his magnificent talent putting together just some amazing fucking beats. He does everything from R&B, EDM to hip hop, and then a little extra spice and kind of blends genres too. Give it up for Ari Martin, everybody. All right, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Tell the people who you are. Tell us, what you do. I gave him a brief what do you call it? Introduction. Yeah, introduction.
I appreciate that.
But you gotta make them do it, champ. My God.
Yeah. All right. So I am who?
Nah, man, my bad, dude. I'm in the silly mood now. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Mr. Gino Black was very correct about who I am and what I do. So yes, I am a producer, composer with over about 15, 20 years of experience here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I do EDM, R&B, neo soul, hip hop. You name it, I do it. If I ain't did it, I'm gonna do it. And I'm looking to work with those that are talented. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Now, I've known you for a couple of years now. You've been dropping music under the Grown Up Music imprint, with a little bit of assistance from Power Blast Worldwide. Yes. Just a touch. You got some jams out there. I think, let me see, we got Vibe With Me. I think that was the first single that we collaborated on. You got In the Moment. You got Victory. You got that Monster, Amped Up. That's still booming. Amped Up is booming. We did the Let Them Know together. Mm-hmm. And then a whole bunch of other stuff I'm forgetting about. Let's just talk about, for you, your personal experience with because I'm from Cincinnati originally, so
right.
I'll reserve my judgment for my own personal critics and all that bullshit. But talk to me about your experience in Cincinnati, and the talent pool, who you worked with, and some of the projects that you worked on. Because I know when we first met, you had the Thoughts and Idea project out. That was a pretty tight product. And you were introduced to me by Millie. Let's give a shout out to Mildred C. Fallen. Yes, journalist and a good friend of, and I understand, good friend of both of ours for a long, long time. Yeah. I've known her since she worked at Everybody's Records, but shout out to Millie. Yeah. Queen Mill. Yeah. And but just share with me some of the stuff that your experiences in Cincinnati as a young producer.
Well, it's been a lot of challenges. Trying to balance music, life, and family, and work. Mm-hmm. It is definitely a challenge. So actually, I'll say around the mid 2000s, I decided to go to this beat battle that I was hearing about boot dance. Mm-hmm. And I think I've been at least about maybe 10, 11, 12 times. And it was something that was interesting because nobody was doing this. So the one that put it on was actually giving exposure to those producers that were not getting exposure. I'm not sure if that's still continuing, at this moment, but I entered about 10 to 11 times. And
okay,
what discouraged me, I gotta keep it real. What discouraged me was the judges. Mm-hmm. It was, how can I put it? Biased at sometimes.
Okay. And what happened?
Well, okay, so check this out. So I'm at the beat battle. I'm not sure which one it was at. I think it's like maybe my last one, probably like 10 or 11. I think I went maybe one more time after that. I'm not sure. But I was against this producer. Dude's talented. I'm not sure if he's still producing or not. and I had this track, and nobody was doing rock mixed with hip hop.
Right.
And so we had like 3 rounds. So I forgot what the other two was like, but the third one, like, oh yeah, I know I got him with this. So he in turn had one that was not touching mine at all. So I'm like, man, I got this in the bag.
Right.
Nope. What they did, I didn't notice till afterwards when everybody came to me. At the time, I was going by Picasso. That's my producer name. So they was like,
Picasso.
man, yeah, they was like, man, Picasso, you had
Okay.
that. And I was like, I don't know what happened. And somebody said, man, I'm thinking what it was is he knows some of the judges. So I said, oh, that's what it was. And
So people that were in attendance actually came up to you, kind of saying like, you got this, you got this.
Yep. I mean, because I developed a relationship because I was going for quite a while and, giving out business cards and whatnot. So I was pretty much getting my name known. And they knew the type of talent I had because I was coming with something that nobody was coming with. Everybody was doing that copycat music.
Right.
I like to stand out. So my creativity comes from whatever it is everybody's not doing. Like
Right.
the whole, with the genres that I touch, everybody's afraid to step outside the box. Matter of fact, after that, I got dude's name, and I go mention any names, got dude's name, and we actually did a track together. And he was like, man, Picasso, I can't do no R&B track to save my life because, I was known for doing R&B and neo soul.
Right.
And I was like, well, just keep doing what you're doing. But I thought that was a hell of an experience to see that this was supposed to be a venue. Matter of fact, the name, if I'm not mistaken, was Baba Boudin's.
Baba Boudin's.
It was a Macmillan, somewhere over there by University of Cincinnati campus.
Okay.
And
Up in the
I
Clifton
thought,
area. Clifton.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm thinking this is going to be an open space where people could be creative and they can be known for what it was that they do. However, the gatekeeper said, no, we want to make sure that our people is put on the pedestal and you get your little crumbs whenever you can get them. So after that, I said, I'm not doing it no more.
And this is in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got my own thoughts on that. But I ain't gonna put my thoughts into your situation and experience because you're saying like this same person that won, you and him later worked on something. And he said he couldn't do R&B track to save his life.
Yep.
Same person. I mean, everybody's not versatile, man. But also, you gotta. Well, I have to say that a lot of people can't do multiple genres as a beat maker, composer, producer, whatever you choose to call yourself. So you had a situation where it sounds like he was kind of still doing the same cookie cutter stuff, and yours was something different. People scared of different.
I've learned that a lot where we don't have a specific sound here in Cincinnati, and that's something that we definitely need because everyone sounds like everybody else, and my goal is to stand out. So I get my creativity from thinking outside the box and doing what no one else is doing.
So tell me more about the situation. So the beat battle's going on. People are feeling your stuff. Like when, say, and I haven't had the pleasure of going to whatever that venue is, but I understand how beat battles work. So while the round is going, this other person that ultimately won, I'm assuming, his beat's playing, how's the crowd response versus the crowd response for yours? Like in real time.
In real time, they wasn't as hyped as it was with my beat. So so that's what made me say, oh yeah, I got this.
Right.
After, no, we're gonna give this to such and such. I'm like, what? You kidding me?
So they was cool with
it. Yeah. So I wasn't discouraged. I kept on and kept on, throughout the years. I ran into different people and building relationships. So I didn't let that discourage me. I just kept on going.
That's what you got to do, man. You got to persevere.
I definitely didn't return.
Well, it sounds like they was clicked up. I don't know. I can't speak to it there, but I'm gonna take your word for it. Sound like
that's definitely what it was.
Sound like they was clicked up, and I can kind of believe that because I'm from Cincinnati and I just know how it goes. It's probably the same in every other city, but in my experience in Cincinnati, the click situation is kind of what ruined my era of hip hop in Cincinnati, and that was in the 90s. I'm a little bit older than you, so mine was in the 90s when I was really heavy involved in the Cincinnati music scene, and I seen it then. So I don't know what year this was for you, but it sounds like nothing's changed.
Mm. This was like the early mid 2000s, but it's all good
Okay.
because all it did was give me inspiration. You
Yeah,
know,
I
I
mean,
oh go ahead, go
now
ahead.
I was just gonna say, and look at you now, man. You got like the last I checked, you had music in over 120 countries.
Oh yeah.
And I personally know what those numbers are looking like and the kind of feedback that you've been getting. Talk about talk about how you build up. Let me try to rephrase it. Let's talk about how you went from that situation and the years from that, and based on that situation, how it kind of I'm assuming it kind of tainted your view on the local scene. Talk about from there to now. What was that transition and what were you involved in with that stuff? Since you said you didn't go back to no more to beat
Right.
battles, what were you
Um,
doing? What were you up to?
well, I just focused on work and family when that took
Mm-hmm.
place and just building my category. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna explore different genres because at that time I wasn't doing EDM at all.
Mm-hmm.
However, doing research, listening to different sounds and different type of music, I know that's what the people like. So
Mm-hmm.
developed a plan, and I'll go back to that original question. However, I developed a
Okay.
plan to consistently do EDM based on the response from the people and how they react in as far as the streams, as far as the downloads. So I'm like, okay, they feeling this. This is what I'm going to do. Not to say I'm not going to do the other stuff. I just
Right.
put that on the back burner, but I'm giving people what they want now because that's what's
Mm-hmm.
popular.
Right. But it's I don't think though it's like whereas sometimes when people say stuff like that, I hear people say, "Oh, you're just doing it to get to that bag or whatever terminology they want to use." But in reality, when I listen to it, I don't hear like you're just doing it because that's what popular because it sounds good and it sounds consistent. A
Right.
lot of times when people do something like, okay, that's what hit, I'm gonna keep doing that. I don't think that's the case with you though,
Mm-mm.
because it seems like you got a real love for that genre of music.
Absolutely.
Whereas a lot of people try to jump on the bandwagon. And I remember the time when everybody's like, oh, I start making EDM tracks. It's like even with me as a producer, I've been doing that shit forever. Like I don't just put out rap shit. I put out all kind of shit from my cinematic hip hop shit to my dance records that I put out. That's all 120 beats per minute and above. I mean, because when I left Cincinnati, I moved to Miami, so it's nothing but clubs. It's house music, club music, dance music, rave music. It's nothing but EDM. So that's what I live in that space. So that's why I say for me, your shit sounds authentic just as anything else that's being made by people that's been doing it for years. So hats off to you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Um,
I got to get down to Miami too.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. 100%. Yes, you do. We're gonna make that happen. So then when you start doing that, um, most of your stuff right now that's been out has been instrumental. Talk to me about the instrumentals and any collaborations that are in progress or collaborations that were in progress or like what's going on with that.
I'm glad you asked me that because, you know, doing music, it can be very frustrating at times. And since, running into that situation and everybody had that same mindset where they want to step on toes and be clicked up here in the city,
Mm-hmm.
um, I decided to reach out beyond the city. And what I mean is I have actually a page on SoundCloud.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just going through some music, listening to different talent, and I ran across this acapella by the sister named Kimmy Sulola. Matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to her. She's in the UK. Uh,
Okay.
and it was the song called New Form. And I didn't hear the original. It was just the acapella. And I was like, you know what? I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna do something with this. I never put lyrics with my music as somebody I didn't know or didn't have a relationship with at all. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm gonna go ahead and do this and see what takes place, what comes of it. I reached out to her. She actually put it on her page. I got it on my SoundCloud. And matter of fact, by her being known in the UK, matter of fact, she's in I think London.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that particular song, uh, even though it was remixed, it was on an internet radio station. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I like this. This is different. Getting some
Yeah.
exposure. So we kept that relationship alive. And up to this day, we still contact each other. Matter of fact, we have a couple of projects in process. So I want to make sure that I let that be known. That's why you got to go to my website because you never know what I'm going to do. So you want to go to arimarmusic.com. Got to put that plug in real quick.
All right, marmusic.com.
arimarmusic.com for all updates on contest, music that's gonna be released, music that may not be released, as
Mm-hmm.
well as my merch. So
Right.
I'm gonna check that out. If that answers
Gotta
your question,
gotta plug the merch.
gotta plug the
Gotta
merch.
plug the merch. AriMartinmusic.com. Y'all go there, subscribe to his mailing list. He does put up exclusives and sends out some good content that's only available for the subscribers.
Yes, sir.
Oh, also, um, with that, shout out to that young lady in the UK. What's her name again?
Kimmy Sulola.
Kimmy Sulola. Shout out to her. Very, very talented young lady. And then, if I remember correctly, wasn't there also a clip of something that she was doing on a documentary or something?
It is. I can't recall the name of it. However, if we're able to do that at the end of the podcast,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Okay, we can do that.
go
All right.
ahead.
And then who else? Like, say,
Mhm.
in Cincinnati,
Yeah.
I personally know a lot of talent. That's one thing I can never take away from Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a lot of talent.
Yes.
But in your experience as a producer, like, and me as a producer as well, collaborating with different artists and people, work from hip hop to singers. I mean, I've done alternative rock tracks, I've done
Mhm.
dance tracks, and now you're like kind of in that same lane where you're doing all these different genres.
Right.
What's it like working with the local talent pool? Now, outside of the young lady Kimmy in the UK, what's it like with the local, or what has it been like in your experience,
Um,
producing local talent and
it's
those relationships?
it's been it's been a challenge. I want to say difficulty, however, since everyone has adapted that crab in the bucket type of mentality. You have these cliques where they know who's talented.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of everybody putting their resource together and pulling together, they want to pull you back because you ahead of them. So I've been experiencing that. And I also been experiencing a lot of um, egotistical situations. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
name any names. However, I was working with this brother I went to school with, and I have over 20 years of studio experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sending him instrumentals. He was sending me the vocals back, and I was sharing with him that there was some change that needed to take place. Not that I was gonna just pretty much mutilate the whole song. However, knowing the industry standards and seeing that you can't use everything in music as far as vocals
Mm-hmm.
or even some instruments or instrumentals or whatnot. Instruments, my bad.
Right.
Instruments that he wasn't really understanding what I was sharing. And when you got two alpha males, they're gonna be doing this. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a peaceful, humble person. So instead of getting into altercation or having like bad blood, I decided to step back out that situation. Brother's talented. He can really sing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe later down the road when he understands himself about music and the factors that's involved and how important it is to
Mm-hmm.
listen to experience that you may not have, then he'll be able to go somewhere. But other than that, that's what I've been running into, and I think um I'm not sure why that is. I'm not going to shit on the city, for the little experiences I
Mm-hmm.
did have. I do know that there's talent out there. Matter of fact, I've been to a couple jam sessions in Forest Park. It's called
Mm-hmm.
what is it? Jazz. I forget the name of it. But anyway,
Jazz
I
Spoon.
met Jazz Spoon, right. So
Mm-hmm.
see, you are still connected to Cincinnati. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Jazz Spoon and met this talented young sister by the name of Any Day. And
Mm-hmm.
I was actually blown away by the vocals and seeing her perform at the Lounge 2 in Northside.
Okay.
So I decided to have a conversation with her, let her know what I'm doing, gave her my information, we exchanged information, and I'm working on a song right now. It's called "Take My Time." Matter of fact, I might as well go ahead and say it now. I'm not the type of person that's gonna keep secrets, but to let
Mm-hmm.
them know I wasn't only the producer on that track with you, I was also a lyricist. So I go by the
Uh-oh.
name, yeah, I go
He
by the
let the, he
name
let he let the cat out the bag now. He let
Yep,
the cat out the bag.
I go by the name of Main Topic. So I'm actually working on an EP entitled "The Kindling Effect," and
Kindling effect.
yep, the Kindling
Okay.
Effect. So I got a lot to get off my chest, a lot of life experiences that I'm willing to to take a risk and speak about that nobody wants to touch. So that's the reason why I named it the Kindling Effect. And one of the songs that I'm working on that I'm gonna have her actually sing on the hook
Mhm.
chorus is called Take My Time. It's like a I won't say a love story, but it's like motivational for the black women.
Okay.
And like with my experiences with seeing different things and how, the brothers approach the sisters, sometimes they don't want to be approached at all. Sometimes they want to be approached with respect. So I'm pretty much speaking about that in the song. And by her having the background of jazz as well as blues singing in her
Mhm.
her background, I think that her voice would fit that song for the hook. So I let her know what the song was about. Said, okay, I'm on board. So looking to have that released sometime this year.
Okay. And what's the young lady's name again?
Her name is Inde.
Inde. Shout out to her.
Inde.
Now, this project that you're working on, this is a project since you segued into it with main
Yeah.
topic. And so you're gonna be rapping on this album
Yes, sir.
or this
Yes.
project.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
actually started that. I've actually started out with rapping.
okay, you started rapping before you were producing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, tell me about this project. What's the catalyst for this project?
Oh, the EP.
Yeah.
Um,
You said you got to get something off your chest.
just things that are relatable. Because I know with music it has changed dramatically, and there's a lot of music that I would say that it's kind of harsh, and some people may be living that lifestyle, some people may not be,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of talk about it, but it's not a lot of talk about those who do the opposite. So
Mm-hmm.
since I'm one of those who do the opposite, and I have a voice, why not share it with the world?
Makes sense. So how many tracks should be expected on this EP?
7.
7 tracks, and you're gonna be venting your
Oh yeah,
frustrations on these tracks.
yeah, yeah. A little venting, a little something, something. I'm not gonna be too harsh, but the title itself is gonna explain a lot.
The kindling effect. Okay, we're gonna
Kindling
look
effect.
out for that.
Yes,
The
sir.
kindling effect. I can't wait to hear it. So you got that young lady you're working with, and then I might as well let the cat out the bag. I'm working on one of your tracks too.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Working on a track. Well, I'm working on a few, but one we definitely got in the can already.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how the people react to that. But I want to talk about when you let me see. You mentioned you kind of fell back and just making sure you was just doing work, day job, and take care of the family and stuff like that.
Right.
What and this is kind of where a lot of people when you were mentioning like the music that you're going to make or the music that you're about to present on Kindling Effect, a lot of people don't talk about that side because we only hear the negative side and the harsh realities side. Like a
Right.
lot of the people that listen to this podcast and watch it on YouTube, I always
Mhm.
try to mix in some real thought provoking content. So talk about what it's like for you to be a family man and trying to be in the independent music game and the challenges that you face with that because I remember, like I said, I'm just a couple years older than you, but I remember the one thing that kind of me and you kind of bonded over once we started working together was the fact that we were both family men, and then I could relate to your situation. But from your perspective, talk a little bit about that because a lot of times, once people shift to family mode, they give up on their dreams
Mhm.
and then they just go do the 40 hours a week plus take care of the wife and the kids and that's it. But you're still pushing forward, still investing in your independent music campaign, ongoing and producing and dropping records. You had the Thoughts and Ideas records out, which was a couple years back. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes.
That is still streaming on all platforms, Thoughts and Ideas. um well, excuse me, it will be streaming on all platforms. Again, we pulled it and we're gonna re-release it. But talk about what that's like for you to be husband, father, and then you still gotta try to be, the next big producer, Mr. International.
It's been great. It's all about prioritizing and scheduling, and a big part of that support system is my wife. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like when I get off work and whatnot, eat dinner. I may sit back, relax, watch TV. She won't let me watch TV that long. She said,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, get your ass down to the studio, make some music." Even if I just made some music the previous night, I made some music. So she's
Okay.
always been motivating me and kicking me in the ass, so to speak, to make sure that I don't get rusty.
Hmm.
Because there's been times where, I've been so involved with work and spending time with the family, having family night, doing things like that,
Hmm.
where it's been weeks where I haven't been in the studio. And I would say sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't, because sometimes I may hit a wall. But
Hmm.
other than that, I always bounce back. And I would say the support of family and being able to prioritize has actually been able to help a lot.
Hmm. Okay. And then if you could, if it was a younger guy than you that's out in this game, but he's also a young father, what advice would you give him about pursuing dreams while still maintaining the reality of responsibility?
Females can wait. That's the one.
Females can wait.
Females can wait, man. Once you start having a family, everything's gonna shift. And when you are blessed enough to have, that partner and that support, it's gonna be a great assistance. However, make sure you don't give up on your dreams. Um, have a small circle and always make sure that you're looking to absorb as much information you possibly can as far as music, because
Hmm.
I'm still learning things every day. So I know for a fact, even though I've been doing this over years, it's nothing that you can't tell me that I can't learn. So I would say keep
Yeah.
yourself, self motivate, surround yourself with positive people, be versatile because that's going to be very important, and don't allow anybody to sway you by putting negative things in your ear. So you ain't gonna make it. That won't work. It will work. The hell with them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because I've been told that, and here I am. No matter how long it took, I'm still here. And I'm not giving up. And that's the other thing. Don't give up. Uh, like I said, surround yourself with positive people all the time. Make sure that the people around you support you 24/7.
Solid advice. Solid advice. Now I want to segue. I want to talk. I'm going to switch completely. Let's talk technical. Let's talk like studio rats.
Yeah.
With your production, let's talk about because a lot of people always are curious about this. You don't giving away no trade secrets, but let's talk about when you get inspired to create a track. And then let's talk about a little bit about the equipment that you use too, and the
Okay.
software plugins and stuff like that. What inspires you to make a track? Say for example, let's talk
Ooh.
about Amped Up, which is a pretty big record for you that did real well and is doing still well. Let's talk about Amped Up. What's your motivation behind Amped Up?
Um, the interesting thing, I was trying to make a song similar to what's that song? The Bausch. Be a lover. The doom, 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 I wanna be. I can't sing.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know you're talking Labouche,
Yeah,
Labouche.
LaBouche, yeah,
Yeah,
LaBouche. I know.
yeah.
So knowing that R&B and hip hop is something that is on the forefront,
Mm-hmm.
pop and EDM not so much. So I want to do something that is not being done. And I also want to make sure people dance. So
Right.
that's why I came up with that, and came out to be a pretty good record. And then from there, like I said, based on the responses, and this is what people like, I said, I'm gonna keep doing this. Not so much, for the streams and whatnot. That's
Mm-hmm.
helpful. However, just for the love of it, because I haven't made a country song yet, but that's definitely on my radar.
No, I heard one of your in your beat pack. It got a little
You did.
country twang to it. Yeah,
It may
it
have.
was
It
it
may
was like some shabuzi shit.
have.
It wasn't 100% country, but it had hip hop drums, but you had a country guitar sample in there.
Yeah.
You got one, bro. We just got to get it to the right people. You got one.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
then from,
so go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, then from there, I was attempting to do a part two of Amped Up because it did so good. Which it did pretty good, and it didn't do as great as I would like or as great as Amped Up, but it's called Another Night, and
Another night.
we released that at the end of last year because I wanted that to be the anthem for New
The new
Year's
year.
Day.
Yeah, yeah.
So that turned out to be a great success. But as far as the equipment I use, matter of fact, I can tell you a little story.
We love stories on music
Tell you a
therapy and
little story.
motivation. We love stories.
I'm gonna, I'm
Bring
gonna
it.
tell you, I'm gonna tell you how it all started. All right, I had to be at least, I want to say maybe 6, 7 years old. I
When I
was
was a wee lad at
yeah,
7
you ain't got to a grasshopper. You ain't got to a grasshopper. I had to be like 6 or 7. And my dad had bought me a radio. And I know a lot of the newer generation say, what the hell is a radio? So it was like a little boom box, had one speaker, had cassette. Yes, a
Mm-hmm.
cassette. We gotta explain that later, but we had cassettes back then, and we did all of our recording music on that.
Mm-hmm.
So before I was into the music, I was all around the house recording. Like I put the radio up to the TV, so I'm in the cartoons. So I'm Dennis the Menace. That was my favorite one. So I'm recording that. Uh,
Dennis the Menace, the old school cartoon.
Yep, Tom and
Okay.
Jerry. So I'm recording this, just I guess that's what my experience to get developed into the actual equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And for some silly ass reason, I decided my speaker's dirty. I don't know. I'm young. My
Mm-hmm.
speaker's dirty. So I take a bar of soap and, and I rub
Hell
it
no.
all on the damn speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that it wasn't coming off. So once again, I had another genius idea. I'm gonna take the radio in the bathroom and I'm gonna rinse it out. So now
Hell
I got
no.
water all inside the damn radio. My mom stopped me. She was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I was trying to clean the speaker." So she wanted to make sure that I didn't plug it up because I would have got electrocuted. I didn't know nothing
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
But that's when you young, stupid. So
Not
that
necessarily stupid, just not aware. Not you.
yeah.
Not you wasn't aware.
Yeah, that's what I did. But later down the line, I had developed a love for music. My dad always played all the songs from Motown.
Mm-hmm.
Smokey Robinson, the Four Tops, Diana Ross, Earth, Wind and Fire, and that's why I actually developed my love from because of the musicianship, especially the horn section. That got my attention. My dad was always playing it, so I had no other choice but to love it too. Now he did, mix in some songs from the '80s as well as far as what was his favorite? Keith Sweat when Teddy Riley had introduced the world to the what they call that?
New Jack Swing.
New Jack Swing, right? New Jack Swing. So he played that whole album. I pretty much know
Mm-hmm.
that part. But later down the road, my sister, she started singing. And what's interesting is she's put together a group with a next door neighbor and one of our neighbors down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, I didn't know that our neighbor Will had a studio at his dad's house in North College Hill. So they performed. I don't know how long he was working on this song. However, they performed on my sister's birthday, taking pictures and everything like that. And they had actually was talking about having them go in the studio and sing. Now I
Okay.
don't know what happened with that. That didn't develop, but I was like, I could do it. Now, I had to be about maybe 10, 11 years old, and I was making raps. That's why I started rapping about 10, 11 years old. I was making raps
Mm-hmm.
and recording it on. We had some more sophisticated, not that little boombox I had, but more sophisticated equipment that I could actually plug into um, this bookshelf stereo that my dad had bought. My sister
Mm-hmm.
had this Casio keyboard. So I was taking one tape and recording the drums on it. Then I was
Mm-hmm.
overdubbing it and recording the bass
You had
drum.
the two
And
cassette decks.
yeah, had two
Yeah.
cassette
Yeah.
decks. So I was like, okay, it sound like something. I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so I let Will hear it, and he said, "Okay, you got some potential," but he wasn't into music like his brother Chris was.
Mm-hmm.
So he let Chris hear the music, and we kept in touch, and we developed a relationship. And then when I got into junior high, I had met this dude named Tony, and found out we both can rap, and Chris wanted us to come over to the studio, so we made a rap, and we was missing the element, so he invited his niece Kendra into it, and at the time we was gonna be a group. It was gonna be called Young and Restless.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, watchers they remember this story.
Young
And
and the Restless actually was a hip hop group, I believe, from the East Coast back then.
really,
Yeah.
damn.
I don't think that
Oh,
was y'all though. But anyway,
nah, I
continue.
wouldn't. Nah, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
Us. We
yeah.
ain't going nowhere. So
Okay.
we recorded this song, and it's lot of choice words in there.
Oh,
And
they like to cuss a lot.
well, I know I did. My dad, he heard it, and he was like, "Nah, you can rap. You got to the cussing out." So at that time, I'm thinking I can't do it.
How old were
So
you then?
I had to be like 13 years old.
Okay.
So at that time, I called Tony, and I was like, "Man, my dad said I can't rap." So I'm trying to put it all on him. So my dad said I can't rap, and
Right.
then it kind of the group kind of like slowly faded away. But years later, I kept in contact with Chris. Matter of fact, his name is Chris Boyd. He's my music mentor. So we've been
Hmm.
working on music ever since. He's actually showed me like different equipment, how to play different chords because he actually took piano lessons when he was young. So that's why I was like,
Hmm.
he's more into the music than his brother Will, even though they both are musically inclined. But we developed a relationship, and been building from that. Matter of fact, he gave me a lot of inspiration and motivation in regards to not being scared of the equipment. Like they had
Hmm.
this big Mackie mixing board, and it can be intimidating to somebody
Yeah, for
coming
you
into
when
it
you're new. Yeah.
right for the first time. And he's like, "Man, ain't nothing but a big tape recorder." So I was like, "Okay." So he showed me how to do the EQs, the fading, and all that. So
Hmm.
through the years of experience, me and him, kept in contact. Matter of fact, he called me. When was this? I want to say the month of May.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Hey Nick, I got a challenge for you." So I was like, "Okay, what you got in mind?" So he was like, "Since you got track lib and I got track lib, how about we have a contest of flipping the song?" And I was like, "Okay, I got one better for you. Let's get the people involved. Let them judge to see who flipped it better." And that's when
Hmm.
I involved you. I called you up and I told you about it. And I was like, "Could you be like the mediator of it and
Hmm.
pick, through the samples that you think would be best for us to flip?" And then you
Right.
came up with "Hey, we think about this, all right, as far as who flipped it better." I'm like, "I like that." So up until this day, we still cool. We actually getting ready to have a contest. It's gonna be launched on my YouTube page as well as my website, and it's called "Who Flipped It Better?" And based on the responses from the people, will determine if we have more than one episode.
Okay.
So I want to put that out there.
Okay. Looking forward to it. Looking
So
forward to it. Then what are you using like right now? Like drum
oh,
machine, software, synths? Like what are you using when you make beats? Because a lot of kids gonna be
yeah,
watching this, or not
yeah,
kids, but younger than me, gonna
right.
be watching this. And gonna be like when they listen to your records, they're gonna be like, I wonder how you use that. That's what I used to do. When I was little, I used to be listening to Outkast, Organized Noise and shit. I'm like, damn, what they use. Then
Yeah.
I found out that they was doing live instrumentation on some stuff, and I'm like, ooh, that's even next level, especially for hip hop, because I grew up on East Coast hip hop and then in gangster rap from the West Coast, and it was drum machine samples and keys and stuff, but they
Mhm.
really wasn't doing live instrumentation, not a lot since the old school. But now people just curious to see what people are using. So let's talk about some of your gear. What
Okay.
you got?
Actually, I started off with the Boss DR660 drum machine.
Mm-hmm.
My dad bought that for me because I had a choice to either go on this, I guess, a school trip. I forgot where they was going. So either I could start investing into music or I can go on the trip. So I
Mm-hmm.
chose music, of course. Music is always going to trump, except for family.
Right.
Um, so with that, I started to make beats. And matter of fact, before I even did that, I was making beats on the tables in high school.
Yeah,
That's how everybody,
tabletops.
yeah, you know
We
it.
used to be battling in high school, banging on the tabletops. Yeah.
That's how everybody knew who I was because I was
Mm-hmm.
I was making beats. I remember the beat that I loved making the most was what's that song? Something for the people. Your love is the and
Okay.
it was this chick named Nikita. And every time we're in class and it's real quiet. That's the best time to catch them. Doom,
Mm-hmm.
doom, 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 doom. And she starts singing and everything, getting everybody, hyped up. But
Mm-hmm.
that was like one of the beats I love making. But other than that, the drum machine was what I started off on, and then slowly progressed to getting a keyboard. It didn't have a built-in sequencer, so everything I had to play for like 4 minutes straight.
I had that same experience. I recorded
Yeah,
my first demo with no sequencer,
that's
playing
frustrating.
all the keys for all the parts. Just like, but the crazy thing is, bands do it all the time.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Guitarists, keyboard players, and bands, they do it all the time. So, like I was saying, though, in hip hop, we're just drum machine, sample based production. We don't really do that. But I did my whole first demo, 6 songs, playing every piece of the keys in all the different sequences.
and it took you hours, didn't
It took me hours, and then after that, I knew I had to invest in the sequencers.
it?
But go ahead and pick back up on your story.
Yeah. And what was I at?
You
Oh
was
yeah.
at
So it
playing
took me.
everything, yeah.
So
You
it,
had to
it
play
took
it for the full length of the damn song.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It took me 30 minutes to 45 minutes to make a song that was 4 or 5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you're talking about the benefit of the band, yeah. Now when you're a one-man band, you gotta play every instrument.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Because at the
Mhm.
time, I remember I was complaining about it, and these other musicians I knew, like, we do that all the time. Like, you complain about playing for the whole song. That's what we do. So then
Right.
I just started looking at it differently. But when you're just doing standard production, as far as hip hop production, having that sequencer is essential. I mean, everybody knows that now, but back
Yeah.
then, people were laughing at me like, "You complaining about playing? We played the whole song anyway." But
Right.
that was frustrating as a new person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, continue. And then go ahead.
Yeah, it did from there. When I was able to save up enough money, I bought myself an XP
Mm-hmm.
and had both of those together, and everything was smooth. Then technology, because it's always changing, now everybody's doing it on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good friend of mine who actually was lived here and moved up to Cleveland. His name is Ben, and he actually put me on to Reason, and
Mm-hmm.
I liked all the sounds that was in there. It was pretty similar to the Rolling sound,
Mm-hmm.
which was the drum machine and the keyboard. And I started off with, was it Reason 5? Went from Reason 5, Reason 8, and now I'm at Reason 13. So I use what they call a DAW, a digital, was it digital audio?
Digital audio workstation.
Yeah. So that's what I pretty much do. Also, I had experience with Pro Tools a little bit because I've been in different studios, work with different producers, met a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people. And also Cubase because that's what I was originally recording my vocals in
I used to
before.
like Cubase. I used
Yeah.
Cubase a while ago. I used to like
Now,
Cubase.
now Reason does everything. You can record
Mm-hmm.
vocals and you can actually make the music. So, a lot of people think you gotta have like million pieces of equipment. You really don't. I mean, it's really for show if you really
Mm-hmm.
think about it. Especially if you're doing that now. I can understand like back then everything was analog, reel to reel,
Mm-hmm.
ADAT, which a lot of people like, what, reel to reel ADAT? Yeah. So that's how much experience I have in music. So
Mm-hmm.
having all the equipment really is obsolete because everything is done digitally, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
I'll say back then, music was more fun making, making it, having different equipment, having
Mm-hmm.
things hooked up, seeing this, doing that, and this being the master and that's
Yeah.
being
Have everything have
yeah,
to sync together.
yeah.
We had the what is it, STMP
Hmm.
coding that we had to
Hmm.
sync up everything, especially back with the ADATs.
Right.
Everything had to sync up properly, especially when you had multiple decks running at the same time for
Right.
multi-tracking.
Yep. And Chris Boy, my mentor, shout out to him. He taught me
Mm-hmm.
a lot about the music. Matter of fact, the street I grew up on, there was this. I'm not sure if it's still there now on Tennessee Avenue called ICB, and I actually grew up there all the time to see all the live PA systems and equipment and things
Yeah.
like that. Just to
I
get
used to
myself.
I used to buy all my tapes when we were recording on reel to reels and ADAS. All my tapes
Mhm.
came from ICB down in Tennessee. Well,
Yep.
originally they were actually on Reading Road near
Okay.
downtown, and then they moved to Tennessee. I don't know if they're still there though, but yeah, I used to be in there at least once a week buying tapes,
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty much in there every week. I ain't had no money, but I was in there.
just checking everything out. Yeah, they had a little
Yeah.
bit of everything in there.
Having my face saying, "Yep, that was it."
Hmm. And then you get to meet other musicians and stuff.
Hmm.
So I met a lot of cool people there, and then actually work with a lot of cool people, just meeting them from up inside there.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I met Chip Allen. I'm not sure if
Mm-hmm.
you're familiar with him. He worked there at the time, and he gave me a lot of information about the equipment I was looking at because I was like, okay, that looks expensive. Make sure I don't touch that because like if I break it, I can't pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But later down the road, I didn't know. Because matter of fact, he mastered the songs that I originally put out through DistroKid,
Okay.
and me and him we had like a long conversation. I didn't even know he had produced. Not yeah, he produced as well as mixed and mastered Jabri,
Mm-hmm.
Two from the Soul. I think he did some things.
Three from the soul.
Three from the Soul. And these are all artists here from Cincinnati, which
Yeah.
you already know about. But I'm
Yeah.
just gonna
Shout
say,
out to Jabri the Wise One, and
yeah,
shout out
Jabri,
Three
right,
from the
yeah.
Soul.
And also Native Black.
Native Black. Shout him
Uh,
out.
and he actually hit me to a lot of things as far as how to get my mix better.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore it'd be ready for mastering.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Chip Allen and all the people that has been able to assist me along the way, me to becoming the producer that I am. So
Mr. International. Thank you everybody for helping out Mr. International. Okay, okay. Yeah, man. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I bought one of my first NPCs from ICB, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I used to love that spot. Okay, so then what else? Talk to me. What else? From that standpoint, you're learning the equipment, you're learning how to mix better, and then what's taking place in your life at that point.
as far as building up my music, I've been building
Mm-hmm.
up a family. So that's a challenge, especially when you're not at where you want to be musically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the support was something that motivated me along the way.
Good support. Shout out to the missus.
Yeah.
Now, what's it like though, on some real, what's it like when like you got a wife and you got children? How many children you got?
Four.
Four. So what's that like? Because I had four when I was starting out in the game. I have a house full. I had me, my wife at the time, and four kids. I know what it was like for me. What's that like for you? You don't got to get into personal details, but what's that just like as a man trying to balance multiple things at the same
Man,
time?
attention. Everybody wants attention at the same time. Um, I would say, you know what? I've actually been including them on what it is I do.
Mm-hmm. Good
Matter of
decision.
fact, my youngest one, when she was about 1 years old, um, the studio I'm in now, we had moved into this house.
Mm-hmm.
Had to be like at least a year or two. I'm in the house and whatnot. So she's in the car seat somewhere in here. She's in the car seat.
Mm-hmm.
I think that seat over there. She was in the car
Mm-hmm.
seat. So I'm over here doing my thing on the keyboard, and she kept doing something. No, no, no. What it was, she made a mess.
As children would
And
do.
and don't get mad at me. I was like, look, you gotta go. I put her out because I mean, the smell itself was woo. But
Mm.
just to let you know, I was trying to include her in here when she was young. I mean, I know she
Right.
didn't know what the hell I was doing, but
Right.
at least I did that. My son DJ, he's been in here on the keyboard. He loves it every time I come in here. He's dancing. So if
Mm-hmm.
he's dancing, I know that I got a hit. If he
Okay.
ain't doing nothing and just looking like that's it, I didn't know I gotta start over. So the balance it's been challenging. You know, like I said, everybody needs
Mm-hmm.
attention, but it's about trying to meet everybody in the middle. You know, wifey needs attention, all four children needs attention, plus I need my time. So
Mm-hmm.
when everybody sleep at night, I mostly come down here and I just start rotating on different things, different moods. Um, like as far as my music and how I get motivated and inspired, it's either life or just vibing out. Like sometimes I'll
Mm-hmm.
be down here, got my laptop right here, watching stand up. I love comedy. Every time I'm making music, I gotta have something in the background. I mean, I'm not paying attention
like a
to it.
TV on.
Yeah, I gotta have something in the background. So
Yeah.
I mostly have comedy, a lot of thriller, a lot of action. So I pretty much implement it in my music
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I start doing songs ready for sync, whether it's for
Mm-hmm.
TV, movies, games. So I'm not just doing music. I'm doing a whole production,
Right.
so to speak. So, so that's basically what takes place. Like either I get inspired by life, sometimes good, sometimes not so good, and sometimes I just come down here to vibe. And if I make something, I make something. I don't, I don't. Sometimes I be in the chairs knocked out, snoring. But hey, at least I'm doing something. If my wife tell me to come down here, she ain't say make music. She said take your ass to the studio, so I can be back here knocked out sleep.
Well,
No.
I mean, like in my experience, you do have to treat it like a job,
Yeah.
and I think that a lot of young artists, producers, um, as soon as making the music starts to feel like a job, they kind of shy away. Like
Right.
not all, but I've seen a lot of it where you
Right.
get a good amount of momentum if you're a hip hop artist or whatever, and you're dominating the scene. Everybody's loving your skills, and you're starting to put some stuff out, and you're getting streams and you're getting downloads, and you're selling physical CDs or whatnot. But as soon as it goes beyond this is so much fun and it starts to feel like work, most people kind of start falling back a little bit.
Right.
And then you hear people that we're going from the smallest to the largest. So you hear people like Dr. Dre talking about, I'm in the studio every day from this time to this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I do this from this time to this time. They treat it like a job. And then I notice even some people that I know out in the West Coast, because of kind of how Hollywood works, they kind of work their studios like that too. Like we're going to be in the studio from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then after that, I'm going home to my family. They treat it like a day job. And I noticed that a lot of people, especially in smaller towns and indie musicians, and I'm just going to talk about Cincinnati because you're from Cincinnati, I'm from Cincinnati.
Mm.
In my experience, it's like as soon as it's like, okay, we got to do this, this, and this got to be required for this, this, and this, and this, and they're kind of like, oh, wait a minute, I just wanted to rap.
Right.
Now I want to be known as the best rapper, but I don't want to do all that shit. Like, we need to make some content. Oh, I want to do all that. I just want to rap. Like especially when I ran my studio back in the day, artists would come in and they want to do the most in the studio. But after that, they don't want to pass out no flyers to promote the shows. They don't want to do no promotion and do no traveling to promote it in other cities. They kind of just like, oh, I did my rap, I did my local show, and that's it. I know that's not your situation, but I just had to speak on that because that's what I've seen.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, you're down in the studio. Your wife gets you down there too. When you're not even in there, it's still good to be in that environment because it also gives you a chance to think. Because it's not about making music. You have to also come up with concepts.
Mm-hmm.
You have to come up with new creative ideas for potential collaborations.
Right.
Say, for example, Pharrell Williams, like when he was doing most of the production, even after the Neptunes kind of parted ways unofficially, and he just became like the dominant producer, he would become an artist already with the song, the idea about the song topic, and even the hook on the song.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of stuff a lot of producers don't do. They just send out beats or just play beats for people. But Pharrell came with the whole song concept, whether it was Snoop Dogg or Jay-Z or whatever. He's like, this the song. It's already got a beat. It's already got a hook. This is the topic. And either Jay did it or, Snoop did it or whoever they were collaborating at the time did it. For you to work in your studio, whether you're creating something from scratch or not, those are the things you should be thinking about.
Right.
In my opinion, that's what I be thinking about. When I'm sitting in my studio, I'm not always just thinking about what's the next hot beat. I'm also thinking of concepts and ideas to present to other people.
Right.
Because I find that you'll get more work if you come with more complete ideas. Because
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, speaking of Pharrell, he actually, a lot of people don't know he got his start by being the background dude in the Human Nature remix that Teddy Riley produced. That's us double double. I didn't even realize that till a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's him.
So, yeah.
And then also he wrote some of the verses, or maybe all the verses on that Rex in Effect, Rump Shaker.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Mhm.
So with music, every aspect of music, it's worth touching, getting involved in. Matter of fact, before I even got to this point, I was thinking about joining a band, even if I couldn't play the keyboard that good, at least being the sound guy. So
Right.
I wanted to, put my, get my feet in wherever I could.
Yeah, and that's the thing with me too. Similar to that, real quick, I'll touch on when I was down, when I first not where it wasn't when I first moved down. I say I was in town for maybe 5 or 6 years. After I left Cincinnati and moved to Miami, I was in town for about 4 or 5 years, and I started working with different musicians again. I kind of took a hiatus because I was doing my day job and I was making a shitload of money. And when you're making all your money in one place, you making six figures, you ain't even thinking about trying to go to the studio. You're just getting that paper. And Miami is expensive. And again, I had a house full of 4 kids. So music went into hobby status. I was only producing music just for my own enjoyment. So I wasn't really out there. But when I did come back on the scene and start working with people, similar to what you just said, I had a band. We were working in a band, and I'm not the best keyboard player. I just can play for the records that I produce. Because usually when I produce, I'll make the track and then I'll have session musicians add to it. Like I can play the guitar so much, I can play the riff so much, simplistic stuff. But then when I want it to be complicated or get solos or really get somebody that's in the pocket, I'll just play them what I play and then they duplicate it. So I actually started producing music, and then we had the band turn those songs into live versions of the songs. So it was another artist I was producing. She was the lead vocalist, and I was playing keys with the band. And I wasn't that great of a keyboard player. Like I said, I can play good enough to produce my records and to do the song compositions that I do. But I had to learn. So I had members of the band teaching me even how to read scales, read charts, and showing me stuff. And you can't be intimidated by that. And that's what I was thinking. Like a lot of people in my position, especially since I was already known to be such a good producer, but this aspect of it, I'm not that 100% great at. But I trusted the people that I was working with, and they taught me more. So I actually became a better musician working with better musicians. Right. A lot of people shy away from that. But your experience, when you were going to do that, you were about to say something about you thought you was going to do it or you did do it. What was going on with it?
Well, I thought I was gonna get the opportunity. It's this band here called Natural Progression. Lead singer name is Keisha Worthy. I think they're still performing here in Cincinnati.
It sounds
And
familiar.
they were at a club somewhere in Springdale. I forgot the name of it. And because I that's like the second or third time I've seen them perform. First time I seen them perform at the what's that place in Mount Healthy. It's on the corner right before you start going towards Beachmont. The Redmore.
Okay.
And I was blown away because when I met her, she had to be like at least a little over 5 feet. And I'm thinking to myself, because when we matter of fact, okay, real quick story. Me, her, and Mia, we all met at this non for profit organization called Public Allies. And that's a whole nother story. I'll tell you about their agenda. But we all three were tight friends. Even Daphne Thomas that does a lot of things in Cincinnati. So all four of us we know each other.
Oh, you know Daphne Thomas?
Yep.
I had her on the show.
Really?
Yeah, I had her on the show. It just hasn't aired yet. I had her on the show. By the time this,
keeping all the good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, by the time this airs, her episode will have already aired. Yeah, she's cool people, man. But continue.
Yeah, real cool. So we was all getting to know each other and everything like that. So I was introducing myself to her, and I was telling her, I'm a producer and whatnot. And she said that she's saying she's in a band, and I was like, okay. I was like, she's. I'm thinking, I'm being silly and shit. I'm thinking, you can sing. So she invited us out to the Redmore. I was blown away. I was like, damn, that sound coming out of her. And from there, I kept in contact with her. Been to a couple.
So wait a minute, was this Daphne singing or somebody else singing?
This is Lakeisha.
Okay, Lakeisha, gotcha.
Yeah, so
okay.
that was her saying. And so the next time I saw her perform was at that place in Springdale, and the band, every time, I mean, they on point, but something was off. And in the middle, I guess like intermission or whatnot, I talked to her, saw her and everything. And I was like, man, y'all sound good, but the sound, I gotta be honest with you, it was terrible. And she was saying, yeah, they was having the issue with the sound person. So I was told, say, hey, look, I could do it. You already know I'm in music.
Right.
So they said they was gonna give him another chance, and if it don't work out, they'll be in contact. I never got the call. Kind of disappointed, but I still support them because we all good friends.
Right.
But that's why I brought up the whole thing about I was trying to get my feet in where I could, want to make sure I was still motivating myself in music, even though I didn't have any music out there, in the scene per se. So that didn't hash out the way I wanted, but I'm glad I'm in the position where I'm at now, and I definitely want to give you a shout out for give me all the knowledge I need as far as marketing promotion, because I didn't even know how important that was. And I don't even know
paramount.
Yeah, and
to
I don't even know
releasing
if
music.
the other musicians here, producers know how important it is or not, but I definitely know, and I'm glad that we was able to link up because we've been what almost 2, 3 years in now.
Going on 2 years, I believe.
Yeah,
Or
2 years.
has it already been 2 years?
Oh no, man, time bro.
Time flies, man. Time flies. Time flies. And actually, today is the anniversary of an incident we had last year.
We ain't gonna talk about that. Let's just say we making moves. We making moves.
We making moves.